Welcome to the Daily Millwall for Sunday the 17th of January 2021. Yesterday I spoke about the reactions from the two managers about the game, the 3-1 loss away to is Stats Sunday, and we're going to go into some of the stats behind that result. And the first we're going to bring up is this one. This is Experimental 361. This is expected goals over the time of the match. So you can see here Nottingham Forest expected goals 1.5. They actually got 3 goals, so they overperformed. They got more goals than their chances said they should have had. And Millwall were 1.3 and we got 1, so we slightly overperformed. As you can see, the vertical line, when the coloured line jumps up quite a bit, that means it's a very good quality chance, a very high expected goal chance for that. And you can see we had a large period in the first half. After we had our first shot in about the 4th minute, we didn't have another shot until about the 28th minute. Then we had a little flurry just before half time. After they scored their goal, then we got into gear and sorted ourselves out and had a little flurry. And they basically, after their goal, just defended for the rest of the half, flatlined there. Coming out the second half, we had very little going forward. One shot in the just after the second half started, another one further down, and another didn't have our third shot in the second half till about the 78 minutes. By then they were 2-0 up. So then this is when the changes get made. I think that's right around then, and then you can see we had another like 3 or 4 chances, and the goal, Ben Thompson, who come on as a sub on the 78th minute, is Millwall's top player by expected goals, 0.3. He had 2 shots on target. I'm going to get into that later. I'm going to go into the other website, but he come on as a sub with 10 minutes to go, and was the Millwall player who was most likely had the better chances on goal in 10 minutes that he was on the pitch. This, something's not right here. Something's not right. This is just dire. I'm just going to move on to this one. This is infogoal.net. This is basically the same thing, but just presented in a different way. A bit more going on about it. So this is the match events. We've got 2 Amiobi goals, 34-70, and then the Yates on 83, and then we got Thompson scoring his goal. So you can see we made 2 subs first, and then they scored, and then we made 3 subs, and then they scored again, and then we scored. 1 booking in the whole match, that was for Samba. Samba in injury time as a goalkeeper dragging it out. Let's go on to lineups. This is player ratings. So Yates got man of the match for according to this website, even though Amiobi scored 2 goals, but here's what it is. And their worst player was their goalkeeper on 5.97. He was a bit flappy. We should have got him under a bit more pressure, but we did not. And expected goals, they've got it 1.17 for Forest compared to 0.9 for us, which the other one had 1.5, 1.3. It's slightly different there. Let's move on to the stats. Let's go down to see how the Millwall players rated, because this is a Millwall channel, so let's do that. Man of the match for us, Cooper. Wallace 5.31, Jed Wallace 5.31 according to his site. The worst Millwall player yesterday. Yeah, even amongst the subs, worst Millwall player are involved in the whole day. Then they've got Malone and McNamara. I think that's a bit harsh. I think that's a bit harsh. Let's move on to the stats. Match stats. So percentage of possession, 52% to 48% to them. Attempts on target, 5 to 4. Attempts off target, 7 to 5. Block shots, 4 to 6 in our favour. Goalkeeper saves, they had 3, we had 2. We actually had more passes than them. We had 475 to theirs 417. We had 377 completed to 329 for them. We had more corners than them, 8 to 5. We had more offsides, 2 to 0. And fouls, they had more fouls, 11 to 9. Yeah, they seem to. They let us have the ball. They weren't worried about. And they weren't worried about taking it off us if it meant losing their shape. They were very regimented in shaping up and stopping us from passing the ball around when it got too close to not passing the ball around, but sort of breaking into the final third. They were very regimented in getting back after they attacked and stopping us from doing anything consequential in the game. Let's have a look at the maps. The maps are, these are the expected goals plotted on a map on where they were on the pitch and how they should have scored. So you can see pretty much same amount of chances, us versus them, but they had a better chance, quite decent chances inside the area. One of them was a goal, that was the 80th one, but 2 of their goals come from outside the box. Amiobi 34, that's a 3% chance. So if he took that shot 100 times, you would expect that to go in 3 out of 100. That was a 3% chance, but it went in. And same with the other one he scored, 3% chance, all the way out here. I don't know if you can blame Bart for that. I don't know. He wasn't stunningly outstanding yesterday, or last week. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can blame Bart for that. But if Rowett switched him out for Fielding, I wouldn't be surprised. It just seems of a merry-go-round in let's bring certain players out, other players in, certain players out, when maybe some players who should be considered to be left out aren't left out. I don't know how that goes. But you can see there, that's the chances plotted out on the graph. Yep. And the fairness rating, if you look down the bottom, fairness rating is, I'll bring it up and see what they say what it is. It's compare the actual result against the expected goals and the quality of the chances. And it's on a 0 to 100 scale, where 100 represents it was completely fair to the real scoreline and the expected goals, and the lower rating indicates a match where the scoreline is not fully reflective in the balance of the game. So fairness rating of 73.35, quite low. It's in yellow. If it was a high, it would be in green. So that means that was the result of 3-1 was quite unfair, because as you can see, the number of chances created pretty similar, and they scored 2 goals from outside the area. It's not what you expect, but it is what it is. Let's move on to even more detailed. This is a bit more. This isn't just expected goals. This is the whole situation. This is whoscored.com, and what's going on here, they give a little match summary, and it says you can see strengths. You see strengths here. We've got a whole list. Shot frequency when in possession, because as we know, if you don't shoot, you don't score. And favoured high through balls. But for Millwall, they say had a large quantity of possession in their opponent's half, and favoured crossing the ball. So we had high quantity of possession in the opponent's half, but we didn't really do anything with it because they were quite disciplined in their positioning and blocking off the line. So one thing that struck me when I was watching the game yesterday, Malone was going down the left flank and he kind of got into a dead end where he couldn't really go anywhere. So he turned to pass it inside and no one was inside. So he passes it back, and I'm thinking, oh, who's going to pick? Oh, he's passing it back to more likely Alex Pearce or Cooper. But he passes it back to Woods. Woods was far back in our own half where the centre defender should be. I don't know what was going on there. But that was one of the things that kind of struck me as quite odd that was happening. Now you see here top performers on the right hand side. Top 5 players in the game were Forest players. Amiobi got man of the match for them, not Yates. They give it different. Total shots, Ryan Yates 4. And top total shots for Millwall, Troy Parrott with 3. Tackles, Ryan Leonard again. Quite a decent game from him yesterday. 6 tackles. And only Sam Basal with 3s and the Forest top tackles. Like I was saying, that they weren't really getting stuck into us. They let us have the ball, and probably because they know we can't shoot for toffee, so they let us have the ball and didn't really tackle. Just let us pass it and let us pass it around, and then let us with our weak ass shots at goal. Dribbles, Troy Parrott 4, and then Ryan Leonard with 2, and the rest Forest players. Let's scroll down. They've got temps here, 14, 10 open play, 4 set piece, and yet again quite a low number, 7% conversion rate. 7% conversion rate from 14 shots. That means 1 goal. In order to get 2 goals at that conversion rate, we would need to take 30 shots on goal. To get 2 goals in a game, we would need to take 30 shots on goal with that low conversion rate of 7%. And if you think about that, if we were to take 30 shots in a game of football is 90 minutes long, that's 1 shot every 3 minutes. That's going to be that's the craziest football game you'll ever see, or it's not really possible to do that. We're in big trouble with a conversion rate of 7%. It's not good enough, because you're either going to come away from the game with 1 goal or 0 goals. When you have 14 shots and you only score 1 goal, not good enough. Anyway, let's carry on. This is where we were attacking. Both teams come down their right hand sides respectively, them more so, and them not really coming down the middle, probably because of Ryan Leonard stopping them from doing that. Shot directions, us heavily down the middle, them less so, but still near 50% down the middle. Shot zones, neither team had a shot in the 6-yard box. They shot more from outside the box. They were 50-50 more or less. We were 70-30. 70% in the box, 30 outside. Even though they had a short, flappy keeper. Yeah. Most of it was played in the middle of the third. We didn't have there was only 23% in our third of the pitch, but they scored 3 goals. We scored 1, and average player position based on the heat map. And you can see what I was saying before about the two lines of 4 regimented for Forest. If you look on the left hand side here, 2 lines of 4 and 2 defenders playing deep, dropping back. So they were filling up the gaps. They weren't letting us they weren't making spaces for us to pass into. But you look at us over here, you've got Parrott 25 on his own up front, Zahor and Wallace pretty much together, Leonard and Woods together, Pierce is playing point in the back, Malone 14, McNamara 23 out wide on their own, Hutchinson 4 and Cooper 5, pretty much separate. Quite I don't know what that says. It's just a bit. The only standout thing from that is I don't know, Parrott playing up front in his own. I don't know about that. Yep. Anyway, moving on. Let's go to match center. We're gonna go to match center. We're gonna have a bit more look in detail about how bad that game was. I mean, I don't need to tell you that, and we don't need to look at the stats to tell that, but the analytical eye. So we can get that back now by looking at this. So let's have a scroll down. Like I said, player ratings. Average for Forest 7.1 for the average team. If you look on the where the badges are, the clubs at the top. For us, it was 6.47, and they give they give it to Amiobi 8.2, and just behind him Yates 8.1. But don't worry about that. Let's look at us. What did we do? Best Millwall player, Thompson 7.2. He was on for 10 minutes. Got man of the match, according to this website, whoscored.com. Close behind him, Cooper, 7.1. But Biakowski, 5.7, another low rating for him. Like I was saying, it would not surprise me if on Wednesday against Huddersfield, Fielding was in. Because we know Fielding's going to be in for the Bristol City game. Because Parrott pretty much said that after the Boreham Wood game. He said, he's going to play in the FA Cup because he's fit now, so got to use him. Let's have a look here. Oh yeah, okay. So Biakowski, another low rate on 7.0 for Danny McNamara again. Leonard again, 7.0. So those 4 players, Thompson, Cooper, Leonard, McNamara, decent enough. Biakowski, question marks there, I don't know. Let's have a look. Total shots per player. Parrott 3. Nowhere near scoring, was he? They were powder puff. He didn't put his ball through any of them. And you see here, down below, Bradshaw 2 shots. Thompson 2 shots. They were on for the pitch less time than Parrott. I mean, come on, man. What's happening here? Yeah. Possession wise, let's have a look. Let's just wait for it to load up. Here we go. Possession wise, for us, for Millwall, possession. Who had the most possession? Cooper and Hutchinson. Hutchinson 6.5% of the match possession. Cooper 6. So, and up front, Wallace 4.9, Parrott 3.1. Leonard 5.6, Woods 5.5. That doesn't really say anything, does it? Yeah, like I said, Forest was once they lost possession, they started coming back into their 2 flanks of 4, and you can see that where Cooper and Hutchinson had the most possession. They weren't really trying to press up front. They just let them have it, and then once they crossed the halfway line, then they were a bit more concerned about that. But they didn't really do anything. Pass success percentage. Here we go. Let's have a look when it loads. Here we go. 92% for Woods. Only 27% for Zahor. That's quite low, isn't it? Yeah, he didn't have the best of games. Probably because he didn't even bloody know if he was coming or going, or like Rowett only made the statement after the game in his press conference, like, "Oh yeah, of course we want to sign him." So why didn't you say that before the game? I don't know. Maybe he did say it to him. We've got Tom on 100, like I said. He probably didn't have that many passes, but in terms of players who played most of the game, you got McNamara 91% pass success, Leonard 90%, but Biakowski only 50. What happened there? Another indication of a bit of a shocker for Bart. Don't know about that. Maybe. Okay. Dribbles. Let's move on to dribbles. 4 for Parrott. 2 for Leonard. Okay. Move on to aerials. 1. We won more of the aerials. 27 aerials won to us. Only 12 to them. Zahor 6. Cooper 5. McNamara 3. That's good stuff there. Substitutes. Matt Smith, yep. So Matt Smith 4 aerials 1. It's pretty decent. So you would think we're winning the aerials, that rather than ping balls from deep through the middle for Zahor to flick on, you would run down the wing, get crosses over to try and get the aerials in that way. Maybe get a header towards goal, or a header down so someone can knock it in. But did not happen. I see a lot of times the ball was coming through the middle up to Zahor and he was flicking it on, and a couple of times there was no one there behind him because he was the point man. Tackles, we out tackled them as well, 18-6. Like I say, another standout performance from Ryan Leonard. 6 tackles there. Mac coming in with 3, Hutchinson with 2, even Bennett, who was a sub, 2. Not bad, not bad. And for them, Sam Bazawa 3. Dispossessed, they were dispossessed more than us 12 times, but all up front. So like I say, when they were up front trying to do something, they got dispossessed, then they dropped back pretty quickly and closed us down. Yeah, so that's the end of that. Let's move on to chalkboard and have a look at this. Let's take that off. Okay. Passes. Who had the most passes for Millwall? I'll tell you what, let's come off of this. Let's go on to this player stats. Let's get a bit more clear so we can see it. Okay, loading up, scrolling down. Okay, so rating for Millwall. Ben Thompson, man of the match, 7.15. Cooper, 7.07, 7.01. And scrolling down again, yeah, Bart, only 5.65. Touches of the ball, he had the most touches. Cooper, 74. Hutchinson, 74. Ryan Leonard, 70. So yeah, it seems Cooper and Hutchinson had most of the ball because they let us have the ball in our own half. They weren't worried till we crossed the halfway line. Okay. Ben Thompson, 6 touches, but yep. Pass percentage, how many passes? 100. So okay. Key passes. Yeah, pretty much even there. Let's move on to this offensive unscheduled touches. Troy Parrott 5. That's basically when you unscheduled touches is basically, I don't know if it says down here. Bad control. 5. Troy Parrott. 4. Ryan Leonard. So, but he was working a lot hard and trying to make things happen. But bad control. Troy Parrott 5. That's not impressive. Fouled. Player who got fouled the most. McNamara 3. Cooper 3. Okay. Offsides. Who got the offside most? Only McNamara and Matt Smith. Okay. Let's move on to defensive. Who gave away the most fouls for us? Ryan Woods, Ryan Leonard. Yeah. We had the most clearances. Jake Cooper 5, Alex Pierce 2. Yeah. Who got the most interceptions? Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson's got Malone. And then Leonard and McNamara, and that was it. They're the only players who had interceptions. Total tackles. Leonard, yep, we've seen that already. Not Ryan Woods this week. Sean Hutchinson, Jake Cooper, yeah. Like I said, they let them have the ball. They weren't really bothered with letting them get in. Who put the most crosses in? Scott Malone, 11. Danny McNamara, 7. Wallace, 6. But even we see here when Bradshaw come on 2. If they were on for 10 minutes, he had 2 in 10 minutes. And Bodvarsson 2 in 10 minutes. Okay. Pass accuracy. Yeah, John Daly and Ben Thompson, but they only had 1 and 4 each. Ryan Woods, yeah, 50 passes, 92% spot on. And a big drop to no, not a big drop. Yeah, accurate crosses. So, oh, it's just got crosses here and then accurate crosses. So Scott Malone had 11 crosses, but he's only had 2 accurate crosses out of that. That's not equal. There would be Ryan Leonard, who's had 2 crosses and 2 accurate crosses. That's damning as well, isn't it? Oh, damn. Long ball. LB, I think that's long ball. Let's go. Sorry, let's go down again. Have a look. Yep. LB. Pass long ball total. Accurate long ball. Through ball. Accurate through ball. So what we've got here is long balls. Wow. No wonder Bart's rating's so low. His kicking is a bit poor, isn't it? Dog shit. 23 long balls, only 10 accurate. That's probably why his rating's so low. He's kicking. Sean Hutchinson. 11 long balls, 5, so 50% there. Ryan Woods, a bit more, 9 and 7. Jake Cooper, 8 and 4. Danny McNamara, 6 and 3, 50% there. Okay. Through balls. Did we have any through balls? Not a one. So, like I was saying, Forest were disciplined, set themselves up, and blocked off all the spaces for through balls. So we didn't have a single through ball game. But we had loads of inaccurate crosses, especially from Scott Malone. Yeah, that's not too good, is it? I think now I'm going to move on to SoccerBase. This is SoccerBase.com. What you got on your screen here is the results and matches for Millwall this season, and you can click on this, edit filter, and you can change it to when a certain player started a game. So we're going to have a look at Troy Parrott. So when Troy Parrott started, what have the results been? You can see them on your screen now. I'm going to go down, and we see right at the bottom here, it says matches with Troy Parrott, 1 win, 4 draws, 4 losses. But you've got to remember that 1 win was against Boreham Wood. That's a non-league team. So if we take that out, it's going to be 50-50 between draws and defeats. Matches without Troy Parrott starting a game. This is just starting. This doesn't include coming on as a sub. So matches where Troy Parrott hasn't started, we're 7-7-4. 39% win, 39% draw, 22% loss. I think it's pretty fair to say right now that Troy Parrott isn't who we thought he was going to be. I'm going to come out and say it pretty bluntly. He's not good enough for this league. He's not a championship player. I'm not a professional coach. Gary Rowett supposedly is. There are other coaches at the team. I wouldn't know where to start by looking at Troy Parrott playing football. I'm looking at the way he's playing. I wouldn't know how to say to him, don't do this, do this. You're doing this wrong. You should really do it like this. But I'm looking at the guy playing, and he's just averagely average at everything, which leads me to believe he's not good enough for this level. He shouldn't be playing at this level, and he shouldn't be playing for us, where the only game he started that we've won is the Boreham Wood game. He did have a good he did help set up one of the goals, but that was against a non-league team. But even then, he didn't play that well. When you compare matches we've started, the results, against matches where he hasn't started, and the results, it's quite clear to see that he's not an asset to the team. He's a liability to the team. He's not good enough. I don't know why he's starting. If we go back up, if we go and change it to see the probably big alternative to Troy Parrott, Tom Bradshaw, I would think. He's similar type of player. And we compare his stats. Although he does have a win against Cheltenham where he started the game, but he has a better record. You can see that he's an asset, because with him we're 45% wins, 22% draws, 33% defeats. But even if you take out the win against Cheltenham, that's still 33% win. But without him, it's less. It's 22% win, 50% draw. Let's say Ryan Leonard, probably the last couple of games has been really standout player for us. And look at this. This is quite impressive. If you look at the bottom there, I'll scroll up, but we'll come back down. So he did have the game against Crawley, the games against Cheltenham, and the game against Boreham Wood. There's 3 extra games there. But you see, matches when Leonard started, 36% win, 41% draw, 23% defeat. But all of the games where Ryan Leonard hasn't started, we haven't won. We've drawn 2 of them and lost 3. And that was the absolute shocker against Coventry. The draw against QPR, with all the nonsense surrounding that. The defeat of Blackburn, the draw at Norwich, and the defeat in the cup game against Burnley. So is Ryan Leonard an asset? Definitely, absolutely. He's probably should be one of the first names down on the team sheet. But when you compare, let's go back to comparing him to Troy Parrott. It's quite clear that Troy Parrott is not an asset to Millwall Football Club. He should go back to Tottenham Hotspur. He definitely shouldn't start again for another game for Millwall. Or I would go so far as to say he shouldn't start another game for a Championship team until he's learned a bit more and figured a few things out. He's not good enough for this level of football, and he should go back to Tottenham Hotspur, and we should go back to winning without him starting in the game. I don't know why they carry on trying to make something out of him when he's clearly not good enough. Maybe row its ego because he's the player he brought in, and he doesn't want to admit that it's fouled. I don't know, but let's hope he figures it out before we get relegated. Oh well. Thanks if you made it this far. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.